Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a super light coverage makeup look, and I'm going to be using my Best Blend Forever brush to do my makeup. I'm going to do my entire highlight and contour my entire face with this one brush. This is a brush that I didn't use that often, and I didn't really know what to use it for. I was using this fluffy side mainly for powder illuminator, but that's really it. I really wasn't using it that much. And I saw other mascara artists using this to do a more light coverage look with their makeup. So I thought I would give it a try, and it is really great. I've really been loving it. So I really wanted to do a tutorial here showing how I do my entire highlight and contour with this one brush. So if you want to see how I create a really natural makeup look with this brush, stay tuned. First things first, I'm going to apply my favorite primer. This is the Ordinary High-Adherence Silicone Primer. It's my fave. I use the teeniest bit of this primer. Like, I only use just like, it's not even a pea-sized amount. It's like less than a pea-sized amount. And because it just, a little tiny bit goes such a long way. And this primer is under $5, by the way. You can get it at Sephora and you can get it at Ulta. It's awesome. I've heard that silicone primers aren't very good for people with oily skin, but so I don't know much about that. My skin's pretty normal, I guess. Not too oily, not too dry. But I have been loving it. It helps perfect the surface of my skin so that my foundation looks really nice, but it also just makes my skin so smooth that my makeup just glides and blends on so easily. So that's why I've been loving it. All right, let's get started. Oh, actually, before I do that, I want to do my eye primer. This is the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base in the shade Light. And I'm going to put that on my eyelids as well because I'm going to do a little bit of a natural eye makeup look. But I always have problems with my eyeshadow creasing, no matter what kind of eyeshadow it is. So I always just like to slap on a little bit of a primer first to help my eyeshadows stay put. Okay. Now we're gonna get started and do our highlight. I'm gonna use this fluffy side for almost everything. I'll use the little side a little bit, but I'm gonna start by using this bigger, fluffier side, and I'm gonna dip that into my highlight shade, which is White Peach. And I'm just gonna start applying that where I normally would on the bottom of my jaw. Using this brush and this method might take a little bit longer. It doesn't get the makeup on your face as fast as the other brushes, but it really gives such a flawless airbrushed light coverage. It's fantastic. So I basically just am doing circular light buffing motions into the skin, like so. And it might not look like much yet, but when I finish my whole face, you'll see. I have a mystery hair. It won't go away. Get out of here. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put some more of my highlight shade up here where I have some dark spots that I always like to cover up. So you can see I sort of dab on the color where I want it, then I start to go in circles to blend it all into the skin. It just disappears. Do some of that around my nose. I have a lot of redness around my nose that I like to cancel out here. Now I'm going to dip into my brightening highlight shade, which is Moonlit. So it's a little bit lighter of a shade, and I'm gonna put that in the center of my forehead. You can see how that's a little bit lighter than my natural skin tone. Just gonna put that in the center of my forehead in between my brows. I feel like the method of getting the makeup on your face is just fluffing in circles, just light. Now I'm going to do some in my under eye area. So first I'm going to pat that on where I want it. I always apply my brightening highlight shade in like a triangular shape right here, all down the center of the face, not just in a half circle under the eye, in a whole triangle shape. And I'm gonna start just by patting that in, but I'm not gonna do circles so much under my eyes. And then once it's really well blended out, then I'll just finish by doing little circles just to make sure that it's all buffed in perfectly. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Like, look at the difference. Like, it's so much brighter My dark circles are covered up. Do this side now. If you can hear airplanes in the background, by the way, I do live on an Air Force base, so there are T-38s flying around right now, little small jets. So that's what you are hearing. Try to ignore that. Hashtag Air Force life. Just is what it is. Do a little bit more right here. I didn't get enough. There we go. I just love how I'm almost like barely grazing my skin to blend it out, but it's like it's just so perfect. I'm gonna flip the brush around and use the smaller side just for more precision. I'm gonna apply a little bit of my brightening shade right here and right on the Cupid's bow, right there. Center of my chin. And then I'm just gonna blend that out, make sure it's blended flawlessly with this brush. Okay, and I have a big old zit right there right now. So I'm just gonna take the small end of this brush and take my main highlight shade, White Peach, and just tap it on that spot. Make sure I can't see that. And I feel like I might need a little bit more in my mustache area. What else would you call that? A little bit of darkness there that I want to lighten up. Okay, now we are ready to contour. I'm gonna use Ash today. Why not do something a little different? I usually love using Astoria, but I like to mix it up. I can use almost all the contour shades, so I like to just do different things from time to time. So I'm using the big fluffy side, and I have Ash on there. So I'm gonna start on my forehead, just going all along the perimeter of the edge of my forehead here. And then just fluff that up into the hairline so that it blends nicely up into the hairline. Trying to emphasize the shadows on the perimeters of my face here. And it is very light coverage, so you might need to go in with more if you need it. It's always good with mascara to do light layers. Don't glom on too much creams all in one go. It's always better to do a little bit, add a little bit more if you need it. I'll do a little bit of that under my jaw, really define my jawline. Okay, now I'm gonna do my cheekbones. I want to apply this just underneath where my cheekbone starts to round under to create more of a natural shadow there. So if I turn my face, I can see where the shadows are kind of naturally. So I'm just gonna fluff on, just hugging underneath that cheekbone in little circles. I like to put a little bit on my temples and connect it up to the forehead there. It's a very subtle contour. It's not gonna be like the most striking. This is a very light coverage look. Now I'm going to use the smaller side of the brush to contour my nose a little bit. So I'm going to get some Ash. And I'm going to just do that on either side of my nose, a little bit on the top of my nose and a little bit on the side. I'm going to make my nose look a little bit more slim and define the shape of it. I like to connect this up into this brow bone here. Just down either side of the nose. Down the sides of the tip of the nose there, and then I'll take whatever's left on the brush and just do it underneath the tip of my nose to define the tip. See how that changes the shape of my nose? A little optical illusion. And apply a little bit of this under my bottom lip. Focusing on the center just gives the illusion of fuller lips. There we go. Now, I'm I'm gonna take my finger actually in my accent brightening highlight, just a little bit of Moonlit there. And I'm just gonna make the thinnest line down the center of my nose here. And I'm gonna blend that out with the small side of my Best Blend Forever brush. I just wanna make sure that there are no lines, no obvious lines on my nose, but that the shadows are still there and the highlight is still there. But just running it along the edges of those lines to make sure that they all go together. Okay. All right, I'm highlighted and contoured. Done. I'm just gonna apply a little tiny bit of powder under my eyes to blur my under eye and also just prevent creasing right there. I've really loved not using too much powder lately because I just really love the dewy, natural skin look. So I'm just adding a little bit of powder, just right there. All right, now I'm going to use the same brush to apply some blush, and I'm gonna do a really natural nude blush. I think I'm gonna use Ballerina today, which is a really light nude pink shade. So I'm just gonna tap that and then fluff in circular motions, just like everything else, on the apples of my cheeks. This really helps tie the contour in with the rest of the face and just gives you a little bit of warm color glow. This is a very light shade. This is a shade that I like to recommend for girls who are nervous about blush, who don't really love wearing a lot of blush. I'm not that person. I love blush, but I know not everybody is on that journey with me. I'm just gonna add a little bit of Desert Sunset to my lips. It's like a peachy nude shade, but I love it because it's a little glossy. So it's perfect as like a little bit of a moisturizing lip balm. Then I'm going to add some Illuminator for a little bit of that candlelit glow. I'm gonna do Angel, which is like a pink, mauvey pink shade. I'm gonna put that on the tops of my cheekbones. My nose, the tip of my nose. And my Cupid's bow. Now I'm just going to use my Know Your Angles brush, or AKA the Hotline brush, it was renamed, to do my brows. And I'm going to use some Cola Contour right there, that dark shade, to do my brows. Okay, now for a super natural eye look, I'm just gonna do one of my sort of go-to everyday style eyeshadow looks, just since this is a really light coverage, no makeup look. So I'm going to use my Eyeshadow Everything brush, my favorite brush, to do my entire eye look. I'm gonna use the fluffier side and I'm gonna dab that into Bird, which is a taupe, just a matte brown shade. Just gonna fluff that back and forth into my crease. So easy. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that and put it underneath on my bottom lash line with the same brush. Okay. I'm going to flip the brush around and I'm going to use Unicorn, which is a shimmery white shade. I'm just going to highlight underneath my brow. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that to the inner corners of my eyes for some light brightness. And just for fun, I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is called You Complete Me. It's like a rose gold shimmery metallic. I'm just gonna use the fluffy side of my brush there. I'm just gonna put that on the eyelid. Just for a little interest, a little something extra, something a little pretty. Okay. There we go. Super easy makeup look. I mean, I really only used, let's see, I really only used 3 brushes. I did use the powder brush, but that wasn't really necessary. You could still do it with just these 3. So I had the brow brush, the Eyeshadow Everything brush, and then I used my Best Blend Forever BBF brush, and I did my whole face of makeup. And look how natural it looks. Like, I still have coverage, but it's like, it looks like I'm not really wearing makeup. I think that's the craziest thing about mascara is it looks like your skin. It's so skin-like. The highlight and contour, the 3D foundation, it just looks like skin, but better because you're just so much more dimensional and smooth and it covers your imperfections and it's amazing. So all that with just this little guy. So good. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. If you need to be color matched, there's a link down in the description box to be color matched, and I will send you my personal recommendations for makeup shades that I think that would suit your individual skin tone. Yeah, and if you have any questions, let me know, but I'll see you next time. Bye.